Casey, thank you for joining me. I'm going to start before the headphones are even on here. Prove you don't need them. It's not about the headphones. You don't need them. I gotta be honest, I have a slight hangover from Modelo and homemade Mezcal I had yesterday from a neighbor.
Oh my gosh.
Summer block parties have begun, so...
See, I love this neighborhood.
Yeah, it is nice. It's one of the things we're going to talk about, though, the tradition of a block party. I'm curious if you have any stories. If you have a block party in your current neighborhood, I'm going to talk about a few more things. Actually, very appropriate. I did not know you just went to Lollapalooza.
Oh, God. I wasn't sure if I wanted to share because I'm 29.
Well, this is perfect. This is perfect, though. You're gonna give us good insight. I was gonna ask a little bit about music festivals. I want to ask about a lot of summer things. It's August right now,
I love this.
Super excited about summer. Thank you for coming. This 57th episode of the Neverending Becoming. So I mentioned Casey is joining for the day. Very excited about that. Feel free to say what's up in your camera. Throw the peace sign, the gun, whatever you're gonna do. But we're also joined by Casey's dog Snickers.
Yes.
Scurrying about, which I'm psyched.
You may hear him. We're not sure if it'll pick him up, but he is a 14-year-old beagle mix with a collapsing trachea. So if we hear coughing, excuse him.
Actually, it's one of the two questions I ask podcast guests. One, do you want coffee? Two, do you have a collapsed trachea? It's one of the few requirements that you need for this.
It's collapsing, not
not fully collapsed. Yeah. Well, see, I'm still learning even how to podcast, so it's good for me to figure out what I should be asking. You know, we talked about you going to Lollapalooza. I was going to ask you about a different music festival that you're going to later in the year. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to tease that. We're going to come back to that a little bit later. Last thing I didn't get to, I do kind of want to talk to you about, not sure if you're interested in this at all, is the concept of, or just the question as to why the Irish make good entertainers.
Oh, man. Actually, yeah. I don't know if I can talk about that extensively, but we can definitely touch on it.
Most of this show is speculation.
Yeah.
It's wild and blind speculation.
Yes, because I'm Irish American and I don't want to misrepresent.
Well, actually, the reason I'm even asking this, or in part because one of the reasons is like Billie Eilish just released an album, one of the bigger musical acts, Joe Rogan, sort of the biggest podcaster. He's Irish. But two Irish gentlemen, I'm basically getting connected with them through my cousin to possibly work on a video media thing. I just got sent 10 scripts. Of course, the first scene is in a bar, but I'm going to be working with these Irish guys in Chicago, and it got me thinking about why the Irish have such a large role in media.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
We'll get there. Let's start back with the, actually, I want to do the categories. So I told you I was going to do some free associative to start things off. I'm going to give you just 10 prompts, basically.
All right.
And you're going to let me know what comes to mind.
Sure. The audience should know that I'm typically a bit slow to...
That's fine.
Respond.
I time warp this whole thing, so I'll just, I'll make the good parts slower and the bad parts faster.
Perfect.
So there'll be nothing genuine that actually occurs here. It'll be recorded.
Love it.
Okay, so first one, dogs.
Snickers.
Of course. Yeah, great. In the room with us. I was hoping.
Yes.
Good deal.
Was that him?
That was him.
I'm so
He
sorry.
likes a good deal. Snickers likes a good deal.
Good deal.
Good deal. What comes to mind? Good deal.
I don't have one word for this, but
it can be like a sentence, anything.
Perfect.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. I went to an after show on Thursday, and we were all kind of feeling it.
Sure.
And my friend Katie bought me a daisy cutter at Lincoln Hall, and I didn't pay her back right away because we were watching the show and chilling. And then on the way home, her girlfriend brought us through the McDonald's drive-thru, as one does. And the daisy cutter at Lincoln Hall was probably $9+ plus tip. But I just
and you tip well too.
Yes,
and I'm sure your friends tip well. So
yes,
we're looking at $11.50, $12 for that night.
And my friend Katie, she said it was fine. I just had to get her the 6-piece McNuggets.
Really,
we called it even.
That's a good deal.
So that's my good deal.
That's a damn good deal
for the day.
Heck yeah. Okay, next one, credit.
Oh, scam.
Okay, YouTube.
It's changed so much since I first got really into it.
That's one of the reasons I'm asking this.
Yeah,
is because as I stay with this podcast,
it makes me sad.
I want to track how people's opinion of YouTube changes.
Well, it's so different. I I was never like one of those creative people who like wanted to make short films, but obviously like so many other people, I got really into makeup tutorials and stuff. Gosh,
they're some of the biggest accounts, aren't they?
Oh, fully. I mean, the beauty community has changed a ton. I probably for the worse. I don't know, but man, with YouTube, and I used to love. I felt like it was a place for like scripted, like media too, like small, like I mean, when you think of like College Humor and like all of that, it was like scripted, and early BuzzFeed was like even like longer form videos, really scripted, like series,
like indie sketch,
following characters, indie sketch, and now I feel like it's just gotten, you know, capitalism, like it does with anything, has gotten its hold on it, and it's
true.
It's really based around like product and I don't know. It's just, it feels different.
Even you're seeing like CBS News videos, and PBS NewsHour videos.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing more corporate distributors.
But even so, I mean, my favorite thing is getting really tipsy with my friends and just throwing on like old Avril Lavigne music videos and like, or like pop star music videos, and just like having a dance party in like our actual living room. So I think YouTube, a necessary evil. A necessary evil.
You took me on a journey there. I wasn't expecting that at the end.
A necessary evil.
I like it.
I'll go with that.
I like it. Okay, we're 4 in. So we got 6 more if math is still math. New color. What's a new color?
Oh man, like can that
exist? Right?
Yeah, can that exist?
I'm trying to challenge what's possible in these early moments.
That's interesting. A new color.
New color.
So like, I guess you could say like a new color to you, like perhaps a color that you've never experienced, right? Like if you've never been to like the rainforest and all of a sudden you see like this really sharp, like it's like not new in the sense of like the universe, but it's new to you in your experience of it.
Rainforest, you see like a pink mixed with an orange or something
just
crazy.
Something that you wouldn't necessarily see if you grew up in the south side of Chicago and then moved to the north side of Chicago and lived there for 11 years. Like, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of colors I've never seen. So like new to me.
Even just a new color you've noticed people like promoting, you know, like you tend to see brands
love that. I'm very into
that are just like pushing.
Or how do you say it?
Pantone? Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I love the yearly color. Like,
that's kind of why I'm asking.
Okay,
take your
life.
guess. What's going to be the next like hot color?
Oh man, that's so interesting. Like not post-COVID, now that we're unsure if we're even moving into post-COVID.
No, don't say that. This is post-COVID. We're sitting in a room together. I recorded so many of these outside. This is post-COVID as it gets.
So I don't know, like, and like there's so much unrest, but then people, I feel like because they were inside for so long, like are not ignoring the unrest, but like also just wanting to lean into joy. So I don't know what the new color would be. I think maybe like a really, really intense yellow lime green.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Especially because it's like kind of a summer episode. So.
Yeah.
And it's also tying into something in the next couple moments. Modern skill. What comes to mind for modern skill?
Data analytics.
Yes. Grass. Speaking of that lime green. Grass.
A place for Snickers to pee.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, the usefulness of grass, right?
Yeah.
Artist.
Beyonce.
Eggs.
Scrambled.
Nice. Finally, we have celebrity skill.
I just saw, actually going back to YouTube, the Ariana Grande, I think it was a Vivo Presents of Positions, and she is using, I forget what it's called. I always talk to you about it because I think it's so cool. It's like when they loop it, and it you like record the one part and then you loop it and you record the next part.
Oh yeah.
And like Tune Yards uses it a lot. I
loopers.
love that.
Yeah, it's just called loopers.
Loopers. I'm very into that, and Ariana Grande just did a version of Positions where she filmed the whole beginning of like she did the whole production of it in the back, and
Very
it was
cool.
very good.
Yeah, I'm into that. I mean, all of our joys come from hitting the play button on something nowadays. So especially if you're in a position of power or celebrity, learn how to hit that play button. You learn how to loop that play button. That thing I was just playing for the intro, it's like basically a fancy sampler, like looper. It's what a lot of things are now.
Yeah, and I mean, her type of music is so based on harmonies and like layers. And so the fact that she can control her own production, her voice, and layer it how she likes and everything is just really impressive. Honestly, like she can belt and I love seeing her like that, but just seeing her sit and like do it was incredible.
Yeah. And I gotta say, it's got to add a new element to live shows too, because you've heard the record, right? When you see someone live, you want to see them do something different, even if it's maybe not as good as the record. On live music, let's jump to some of the music festival stuff that I'd previewed. First, you can give me a quick preview. What's going on at Lollapalooza nowadays? What are the kids up to?
Oh, man, I am nervous to be too opinionated in case people hear me. I personally thought the lineup this year wasn't much to call home about, but again, I'm 29 years old.
Sure. But you said you found some joy there. You saw some good...
I only went to Thursday. I specifically went for Miley Cyrus.
Nice.
I knew going in, and then I kind of saw the rest of the day and figured it would make just financial sense because I was going to spend the same amount if I went to Summerfest to see her, if she did a solo show. So it just made sense to go and at least catch some other people.
Smart.
But yeah, I got there a little late, so I missed Allie and AJ, which I was devastated about because if anyone doesn't know, you might know them from
Allie and AJ, I'm not sure.
Potential Breakup Song. It's this is the potential breakup song. Well, it was like it's like they were considered kind of like, I think, a one-hit wonder. But actually, they're so fun, and their newest album is really fun and poppy and dancey. But I missed them, unfortunately, because I was waiting to get Snickers.
I didn't miss them. I just got a personal, show of it. That's the best singing that's ever been on this podcast. I should have asked you to do the beginning with me, to sing at the beginning with me. Next time you come on, that's going to be the goal.
For sure. We'll get a little, that'll be a Friday night drunky situation.
You have been warned.
But no, and then I went to Orville Peck. Incredible. He has this song called Legends Never Die. And I was in the crowd by myself because my friends weren't there yet because they just wanted to catch the end, like the second half of the day.
Oh, by yourself. It wasn't, there was no one around you. You had a crowd near you, but you had transcended your human experience
exactly.
into a new plane.
Exactly. it was a strange experience. I've gone to a few different music festivals by myself, but I haven't gone to Lolla by myself. And it was just so weird walking in. I bought like a $5 Miller Lite from like some dude on the corner because I knew the second I would get it, it was going to be like 10. And so I just chugged it while I was waiting in line. And then I got through, showed them my Vax card, and went straight to Orville. And so I was there by myself, but it was the best crowd because he's like a gay icon, but also like super country and has like an extremely low register and is just like doing the most. Like I will say about Lolla, there was a ton, I feel like, more queer artists. And same with Bonnaroo, which is exciting.
Oh, that's where I was teasing. You're going to Bonnaroo later in the year. No, I'm trying to learn the concept of how to like structure a show and whether there's any value actually. And like,
I think there is. I feel like you're killing it.
Not flushing everything out right at the beginning. But you're going to Bonnaroo. Very excited about that. So one of the things we're going to talk about in addition to your Lolla experience is obviously your plans for Bonnaroo, what have you. But what everyone should keep in mind, what everyone needs at a music festival. I feel like everyone thinks about it differently. You already brought up buying the beer outside for half the price, chugging it in line, and then trashing it by the time you get to the entrance, right?
Yes.
Which is a fucking pro move, I gotta say.
You got to. And plus, I love to support honestly, it was in front of CPD, so I was a little nervous, but I was like, I'm fine. And the dude was just like, put it in your back pocket. But like, you got to support those guys with the coolers. Like, they're the best. Like, they're
entrepreneurial activity.
100%.
You're a job creator, Casey. Of course.
Well, no, they're really a bartender.
Yeah, that's right. Another field we can go into a little bit.
Yeah.
But have you started planning your Bonnaroo trip? Do you know like what's in the survival pack?
So actually,
because I've made some additions over the years, and I'd like to share my wisdom.
Share it
over
because
camera.
This is my first time camping.
Yeah, it's another level.
And it's also my first Bonnaroo.
For those who are not familiar, which is impossible, can you give a quick 10-second, 15-second summary of Bonnaroo?
Sure. So
what
Bonnaroo,
is the whole thing?
Yeah, it's a music and arts festival in, I think, Manchester, Tennessee.
You tell me.
Oh, no, it's my first time going. And it is like 4 days of music, art, comedy. It's they're saying is like radiate happiness. It's like a very like good vibe type of energy, and it's massive. It's a huge amount, and it's a camping festival. So you pull in with your car, you set your tent up where your car is, and you camp out for 4 days.
Now, do they have the psilocybin on premises, or do you have to bring that in a jockstrap on the way in? I never can remember how that works exactly.
I can neither confirm nor deny. No. It's so funny. The people I'm going with are definitely heavy drinkers and not as into fun substances. But no, you have to sneak it in. Yeah.
Take care of your own. I just get out of the way now. The one contribution I could have told my younger self about music festivals to bring earplugs, which maybe sounds a little lame. But I also have like nice earplugs now where you can have still nice, good sonics in them. It's not just a full muffle. It's like musicians' earplugs, which is great because then you can still feel like the bass in your chest when you're by those giant speakers, but you have like more room to run. Like you have more tolerance probably to be out there, especially a 4-day festival. I mean, that's a marathon.
No, I know. I've never, gosh, I think about when I was like 12 and I used to go to this like venue, I think in Tinley Park called Mojo's, and they would just blow you away and my ears would literally ring for like 2 days. And I just think about the damage I've done now that I'm older.
So for a 4-day festival, it just rings for 2 days after, so it's a 6-day thing, or is it 2 days for each of the days? So you're looking at 8 days over a week of ringing?
Well, no, I hope not, because I actually screenshot, the algorithm started sending me ads for really nice earplugs, because I always just think of like the foam ones, and they suck.
Yeah, it's not the same.
And so I'm thinking about investing in that, like,
if I had affiliate marketing set up, I would have a link in the description for everyone to give like
hit them up.
Eargasm. I don't know what these companies are called. There's like various ones. Just hit me up. But what's in your pack? What comes to mind for your preparations? Do you feel like you have it mastered at this point?
No, I wouldn't say I have it mastered. I'm actually going with someone who's gone to Bonnaroo for over 12 years.
Dang.
Yes. And then the 3 other women I'm going with have never gone either. So yeah, we have a really fun Bonnaroo crew. And I think in terms of my pack, my plan is Band-Aids.
For blisters or for potential injuries?
Both. Of all different sizes and the waterproof kind. Like, I'm not going cheap. Like, I just bought like a pack, and like I did not like go with like the little flimsy ones. Like, I got the nice ones.
I'm a flexible fabric guy myself. But,
those are nice too.
I see some merit in the waterproof.
Yeah,
down in
you gotta
Tennessee.
do the waterproof. Yeah, especially because it's so hot, and like sometimes they'll spray you or there's things. Yeah, but so definitely Band-Aids. I'm also going to get those rags. It's one rag. Like, I think it's like a chamois kind of almost. But you get it wet and it's naturally cool. And you put it on your neck and you just have to keep getting it wet and it will be cool. It's like a cool rag.
A neck chamois.
Yeah. Well, it's not I think it's like the similar fabric.
Just sounded funny. I just had to say, yeah. That's smart. That's smart.
I'm going to do that. Just
they have a lot of those, what are they called, buffs now? Like the neck
people love those
things. There's like all sorts of...
My sister got engaged and her fiance forgot to take his off before he asked her because he was so anxious. So it's in all the photos.
That's cute. That's great.
Yeah. But no, so I'm thinking one of those, and then I would say just a really good battery pack.
Ooh, extra battery.
Yeah, just like a really good one. Like, I'm gonna spend I'm getting a really nice one so it can at least charge your phone for like 4 days, or if you need, you want to like help someone out who their phone's dead, you can at least offer it.
You could probably recoup the cost of your concert ticket renting that thing out.
Seriously, I mean,
$5 5 minutes. Bring you to 15% on your iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to avoid monetizing the weekend.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I forgotten the peace and love part from the beginning with Bonnaroo.
Oh no, I mean, it's still a money making. I'm behind on my savings goals because of Bonnaroo.
Sure. Are you having a group outfit? Have you coordinated the look of the squad?
So I think because I'm going with like a veteran concert goer. Okay, if anyone can hear, Snickers is coughing. Let me take care of him real quick. Come here, baby.
Trachea seems cool. He's chilling by me though.
So if anyone is hearing that, that is the collapsing trachea. Do not worry. I am a fantastic pet owner. He is heavily, heavily medicated. It's just something we deal with.
I'm honored that he's sitting next to me though. I feel like that's a huge step.
Well, I just stole him from you.
If my trachea was in ill repair, I would be looking for a corner or something.
All right, I'm so sorry about that. Pardon.
No.
But yeah, no, I think he's just so focused. Like, he definitely always looks cute. I'm talking about my roommate.
Yeah.
He always looks cute. He's very into the mesh. We love a short moment. We're definitely like gonna have, like that kind of vibe. But he like anticipates that we are just going to be sweating for 4 days and just running around stage to stage. And I don't think he's as interested in a group costume. Some people do like Scooby-Doo. Some people do like Powerpuff Girls. Like
anyone can do it for a day. But
yeah.
For a whole week, 4 days, that's intense.
Yeah. I just don't think they're as interested. Although I would consider.
What's the opinion on having like a giant sign, like blowing up a photo of someone's face so you can find one another? Is there going to be like a balloon on a string? Do you have any of those tricks?
Yeah, so I haven't gone, but my roommate, just like always in our house, has his old one hanging up. It's like this mushroom, and it's
the
like
mushrooms come on back,
yeah.
Huh? Mushrooms are coming back.
Full circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I know my roommate has used it, but in actuality, I don't think it's practical.
It's not. It's kind of a ridiculous thing.
Yeah, because like who wants to carry that when you're trying to, I guess if you have one person who doesn't mind, but I just like, I need to move.
There should be a law that you have to come in with 14 people in your group to have one of those things.
Oh my god.
Any less than that, you just got to find one another or you're not good enough friends.
Do you have HBO?
Yeah.
Have you watched the Woodstock 99 documentary?
I have not.
You need to. It is so scary. It's all
That's
about
the one
like,
that was a disaster,
it was
right?
a disaster.
Yeah.
It was a riot and they started on fire. And it was basically like nu metal, which is like Limp Bizkit, like I'm trying to think.
The Chili Peppers played, didn't they?
They did. Rage Against the Machine played. Moby was there. Jewel, Alanis Morissette.
I mean, it sounds like a great concert.
Sheryl Crow. There was 3 female acts the whole weekend.
It's hard.
It was literally Sheryl Crow, Jewel, and Alanis Morissette.
That's a little paltry.
Well, and it was one woman per day. So it was just like, okay, we've met our quota.
Yeah, it felt a little
We're good.
Token-esque. Right?
But they were talking about how in 99, no one had cell phones. So if you lost your group, they actually had to have a tent, and it was like, find your people. And people would have to wait there or like leave notes about where they were. And they said it was really scary because like you could not find your group again.
Yeah.
But so, not practical.
No, it's not.
Not practical.
It's not. Well, it sounds like you've got the code cracked. I mean, you don't need one of those when 4 people, that's the perfect group to go with. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a car with a little bit of legroom. A little bit of space.
Yes, and
you can split food into 4. You can take like a burger and rip it into 4 pieces if it gets to that point.
Yeah, they're not meat eaters, but I will enjoy mine.
A veggie burger. They'll be like Impossible Beyond burgers there.
Oh, 100%. No, I mean, and I'm excited because I've been wanting to go since I was 17, and I've always been too anxious because I didn't grow up camping. I've never gone camping. Bonnaroo will be my first time like camping.
Oh, that too.
No, like I'm petrified.
That's a whole nother thing. Yeah.
But my roommate is from Virginia and like an avid outdoorsman.
Has been to this festival for 12 years.
Yeah, he's just. I mean, like, oh gosh, I think he saw like over 260 concerts, 2019. Like this is his thing.
Well, good. You're going with the right person.
Yeah, I am. And so I'm really excited because I've always wanted to go. My mom like would send me emails in college and be like, you should go this year. Look at. And I was just always a little too nervous. And now I just feel like it's really my time. And because we're all 29 now and 30 and 31, we're actually splitting up the car trip. And so we're going to like sleep in a hotel for like 4 hours.
Nice.
And we're not going to do it like all, like, it's just like going to be less. I think we're just going to focus a little bit more on comfort than we have in the past, which is nice.
Yeah, it's the position in life you're in, so you should savor it for
sure.
Yeah,
I think I used to not resent, but like kind of fear or like want to stay in like the like hostel backpacking. Like I think I leaned away from comfort because I was like, I didn't like what it represented, but now I'm leaning in and it's so nice.
Especially at like a music event or whatever. It's understandable time to be a little bit counterculture. It's annoying how people obviously have to stay in like a 5-star Hilton room right next to the venue. It doesn't need to be like that, but it also doesn't need to be where you're trying to cover yourself with a cardboard box.
Yeah, Woodstock 99, they slept on pizza boxes because it was white and you could tell if people had urinated on it or not.
No,
watch the documentary, James. James, it's worse than that. They were like in actual like body fluids.
I know about the mud. Like the mud was a big deal, hence the waterproof Band-Aids. Very intelligent, by the way. That's great. You're gonna have a great time. I've always wanted to go to Bonnaroo. The comedy element we haven't really spoken of, but that's super cool about that too.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I will say I'm less aware of what's on the lineup because I've been heavily preparing for Megan Thee Stallion, nice. Which is why I didn't go to Saturday of Lollapalooza because I paid to see her at Bonnaroo.
Yeah.
And I'm also gonna see Phoebe Bridgers and like I know like the musical acts I'm gonna try to see, but I haven't.
Any comedians?
Man, I haven't explored it a ton. I want to say.
Do they separate them from the music acts, or they just commingle all the names on one sheet?
So actually, I'm not sure, but I believe on the lineup, I don't know.
I would just love to see how they like rank a comedian against like a rock band.
God, I don't.
Or Megan Thee Stallion.
And I think they have a different stage. I think they do have a different.
It is
stage.
a little bit segmented, separated,
yes.
Right? Yeah.
Because they have like two of like the big stages, and then there's like the different tents, and like those are like sometimes like the EDM tent or like new artist tent. And this is just what I've heard from my roommate. I am unsure.
You know more than most. I mean, come on. I also I do want to talk about block parties too.
Yeah.
Speaking of other like outdoor summery fun festivals.
Man.
Do you have a strong history of block parties from where you're from, for where you live now?
I would say no, but I feel like I have a really strong history of like town carnivals and like church carnivals, which were like block parties in like this one specific area.
Sure.
But not like a block party on my block.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to talk about this. It came up yesterday. I didn't even know we were having a block party on this street.
That's so funny.
Classic block party. The first time you find out you're having a block party is when there's like a tow zone notice for your car to remove the car for the block party. No, luckily I was up in the morning playing basketball, but ended up being a lot of fun. Like my neighbors were super into it. That's where the homemade mezcal came from. They were grilling. They had like all sorts of fun comforts. Let's put it. But I had a lot of good times. And my only bummer, I guess, of the whole thing is like there was no one there. Like I live on like a residential street. Seems like it'd be prime real estate for block party attitudes because, people have a family. They're kind of maybe looking for something fun to do like close near home.
He's sad no one was there too.
I should have put Snickers on mic, honestly. We could have got some good sound clips out of this.
I don't know if people can hear it.
A little bit. It's all right. Yeah, you're getting him in there.
He might have to go out.
But if anything, I can let him out.
Maybe let him out for a minute.
Yeah. Let him enjoy the yard
So sorry. So sorry, everyone.
But I loved... I'll 1 second. So he wants to be left back in?
He might not even... I don't even know. He might just be anxious. I mean, he's my shadow, so sometimes he, gets anxious when I don't give him attention.
Snickers, well, you adopted Snickers, right?
Yes, when he was 9.
What if he was like lost at a block party and like we were just triggering all this shit for him and that's why he had to like flip out of here?
I just like was getting his microchip re-registered to be under my name and everything.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, his original name is Jay."
Get out.
No.
That's great.
Who calls a dog Jay? And
you just found this out after all these years?
I just found this out. And let me preface this, Snickers was abused. So like I'm
he was
just
named
like,
Jay, so
I know.
I could say
so
from
I'm
experience
just like,
that.
Oh God. Okay, so then I called him Jay, and he like it was like I shouldn't have done it actually. He literally was like, it was so sad, and like he
Weird.
like was just like, no, that's not my name. And then I was like, Snickers is a good boy. Like you're a good boy, Snickers. Like saying his name, and he was like
Jay?
Jay.
Okay.
Jay. That
knows?
is literally the bouncer at a bar.
Usually.
That is your
middle name.
the bar manager. Like who calls, or a regular, who calls a dog Jay?
Well, I can say from experience, my name is James, but if you got to yell a name, it's Jay. You don't yell James. It's too much. It's too proper, especially when you're screaming, Jay, Jay.
Oh, I guess.
Just quick.
I didn't
So
think
if you're
about
working in a
that.
bar, you can't hear very well.
True.
Even if the bouncer is named like Jeremetrius, Jeremiah, whatever, it's just a J. It's the only thing you're going to be able to get out.
It's true, but I was so shook that his name was Jay, and he did not like when I called him it.
You could say that, put that in your back pocket if he ever gets out of line. Could remind him, I will change your name again. I will call you Twix from now on if you keep it up with me.
Yeah.
I'll let him back in whenever you want, by the way.
Yeah.
No, but I had a great time at the block party. It also made me think of block parties like growing up. There was not one on my block, but the next block, which is always the case, right? Like everyone goes to the cooler block party down the street.
It's the same with Halloween.
Right.
Like what? I think it's because like I grew up on like, it was like the working class block, and then like the next couple blocks in were like the nicer blocks, and I feel like they always had really good block parties.
There was almost an excuse growing up where I was because they had the park. Like there was like infrastructure for block party enjoyment. So it didn't even feel fair to begin
Same
with.
with the church and like having like our big carnival, because they would just do it on the asphalt, like for where the parking lot was.
Right.
So they would do it in the park by the like, gosh, what is it called? Oh my gosh.
House of the Holy. Well, did they always do a summer
Park
one?
District.
Park District. Did they always do a summer like carnival type thing?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When I was growing up. Mm-hmm.
They didn't get excited by the revenue and start doing it for Thanksgiving, start doing it for Valentine's Day.
No, I don't know what was going on
People
with the
drinking
St. Damien
hot chocolate in the
Carnival.
parking lot.
But no, my dad, I just remember he volunteered every year for that. And then this other one called Oak Fest. And we would always go, but I hated them because I have the worst motion sickness. And carnival rides are my enemy. Like I can handle roller coasters, but those carnival rides, like they're all spin based.
They're all trials. Yeah. They're all vomit inducing trials. They're like,
well, yeah. And imagine being like a sixth grader and like it's middle school and it's already like a tough time and you just can't handle the carnival.
Well, that
rides.
too. My God. I'm trying to think, like a lot of events and experiences are designed right now to have like Instagrammable moments. But back before Instagram, it was just what could give you low grade brain damage without too much like long term consequence, which are those carnival rides.
Wait, but is it the same though? Is it kind of the same now?
It kind of is the same when you think about it. The end result does feel the same.
Wait, I have feelings about that.
Hit me.
I think it's ruining the restaurant industry.
Oh, the Instagrammable moment then?
And the bar industry. And
be specific.
I love it. Like I'm not above it. I'm not trying to be like that hipster. I'm not. I love it. I will post them. I love doing that with my girlfriends. I love taking their, like I'm there for it.
You understand it, but let's hear it.
Just
Casey's in the industry, by the way. Bartender, she mentioned.
But just seeing how things went from like what actually tasted good to what food could be photographed beautifully, which just can also taste good. Obviously, it's not like anyone who knows how to make food. That's part of like presentation's always been a part of it. But like I'm talking like bar food, like wings, like things like that. It's just like God, it just like made it worse. Like I feel like it made it like more focused on like the presentation and less like on the seasoning. Like it's just like not it.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure half of the effort now is like stacking the wings in like a log cabin like formation or something, right?
That's exactly what I mean. It's not even so much even like the flavor itself, but it's like the time. Like you have back in the day like a line cook, it was like get in, get out, like get the orders in, get the orders out. Now it's like it takes even longer because you're just like backed up doing this shit that for what? And oh my God. And then I feel like even like amazing neighborhood bars, and like I'm a neighborhood bar gal, if they don't have a mural, no one's going. No, seriously, the bar that I just worked at before COVID, they had to get a mural of a beer and a pizza joining hands. And I love the mural and I'm definitely going to take a photo by it with my friends. But I'm just like, what does that do to like the small family-owned bars? And I mean, maybe it's a good thing in some ways because you can support mural artists and local artists and showcase their art. And art, I don't think is ever really bad, but it's just like, what does it mean for those spots that don't subscribe to that? And then like, are people like, will the counterculture then go to those spots more? And I don't know. It's just a very strange phenomenon. I remember, like, I think Home Slice is a really good example.
Oh, is it the giant piece of pizza? The giant, I'm thinking of another one. There's like
they all have one.
It's all just like a giant pizza, right? Like a weird looking piece of cartoon pizza.
Home Slice opened up, I think, when I was a freshman or sophomore at DePaul, the location in Lincoln Park.
Sure.
And it was always extremely cute. They did an amazing job on the interior from the beginning. It's very like cabin vibes, and the tables are all wood, and it's gorgeous,
like
and you can see all the knots.
Tennessee.
Like it really is beautiful, and the bar is beautiful. Yeah, like you're in Manchester, Tennessee. But it always had Instagrammable spaces. Like it always had the outdoor patio, and they used to have this trailer and like a lot of like light work and like metal work. But it's still beautiful. Like I'm not like, I don't want to talk badly about them, but it's just gotten so over the top. It's like extremely bright and like gorgeous, and I feel like it kind of attacks your senses and demands like that you take photos of everything instead of like being in the space with your friends to like.
Light's an interesting one because it's great for photos, but it's terrible for mood, right? If you're going to get in a serious vibe, you can't have more than one 15-watt incandescent light bulb at the top of the ceiling, however high the ceiling may be. So there are like weird lighting rules, but you also bring out how you especially talking about the food thing too, how they'll just focus on the aesthetic element of something and not think about like the consequence. Like say that they're coming out with these desserts that have sprinkles it sounds like Snickers, that have sprinkles just for that color, just to get like the funky colors and patterns, even though like the sprinkles are disgusting, right?
Thank you. No, I have this debate with my friends all the time. Actually, when we were just up at the lake house, speaking of summer, let's get into sprinkles. My one friend swears by them. She loves them. We might have to let him in a minute.
Anytime. Sprinkles. Hey, sprinkles.
Snickers.
Sprinkles.
Yeah, can you do mind?
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Not at all. Cool.
I'm just bossing James
tell us
around,
about this
everyone.
sprinkle. That's fine. That's fine. I'm here to work.
So my friend, she literally maintains that they add a textural element that nothing else can add, and that she genuinely, look at, I hit my chin on there because I'm so impassioned about this. She genuinely thinks they taste good.
See, that's just being brainwashed by your childhood.
But this girl's an ice cream girl. Like, she's an ice cream girl. She's a lake house girl. Like, that. She's a summer girl. Like, I'm not going to lie. We're talking about summer. I'm a fall girl. But I love summer. But she is a summer girl. And she knows ice cream. And she swears by it. And she likes to get it, like, dipped in them and stuff. And it is gorgeous. But they taste awful.
Yeah, they taste awful.
I don't think they add anything. And also, if I want a crunchy textural element, why would I do something that is like so granular? It's not even really crunch. It's like this weird texture, and it's sugar. It just adds nothing. It's not even like chocolate.
One of my favorite things about this podcast is to come up with business ideas that I'll never pursue.
Oh, okay. That's hilarious.
And I think we should open a joint restaurant where everything tastes amazing, but everything looks awful. Like it's like the least Instagrammable restaurant in the world.
I love
no
that.
lighting. No lighting. The cutlery, the silverware, it's all different. It doesn't even matter, right? But we have like these delicious. I was just trying to think. One of the most delicious things in the world to me, call me crazy, is like maybe a warm Snickers bar. To bring up Snickers, a warm Snickers bar on a plate. But that of course looks like crap.
Looks like shit.
It looks like looks like literal Duke.
They literally do that at like baby showers.
Do they?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
in diapers. Then you
but
have
it's
to guess what
delicious.
they are.
Anyone who hasn't had a warm Snickers bar, go home. Thank me later. Like and subscribe.
Listen,
but
Mom.
we can open this restaurant where no sprinkles on site. We'll just call it no sprinkles, actually. We can just call it no sprinkles so you know what you're getting into when you show up.
The sprinkle cupcake franchise hates us.
But there's got to be room for counterculture, right? Like it's even in the Instagrammable bar experience industry.
Yeah, I mean, there's I don't want to ruin any spoilers if people haven't seen HBO's Girls from years ago.
It's past.
But there's they come up with that idea to do like the anti-hipster coffee shop. And they like talk about all of that because a coffee shop moves in across from their one across the way, and it's like really fancy and really nice. It takes all the business. So then like that's like their business plan for the coffee shop, and it ends up being popular. But this concept loosely was already financed and supported by HBO, is all I'm hearing. Yeah,
okay,
Lena Dunham. Yeah,
I'm secretly trying to create, not so secret now, but I'm trying to create the new HBO. So,
man, what a task.
I think there's room. I think it's
no,
possible.
But Sprinkles, awful.
Yeah, it's not the best.
No, and you're right. Like it's fully aesthetic, and like I get it. Like when you're a child, like they do elicit joy, and I'm never gonna yuck another person's yum or like take away their joy, like because like why, like who wants to be that person at a party, or like, you know, like that's just like the terrible way to live your life. Like if that makes you happy, go for it. But just me personally, I find they ruin every sundae or ice cream treat experience I've ever had with them. Like I vehemently do not like them.
Are they taking photos in the modern age? Will the camera come out for it? Is it possible that the childhood brainwashing of like, oh, you know, sprinkles are fun, or you get sprinkles on your birthday every year, so that's the real reason you love sprinkles? Did that transition nicely to just having a camera phone, so like they were able to bridge the gap in that way?
That's so scary.
A form of theory.
That is a theory, because then like think about like, you know, you get like dopamine and stuff when you get likes on your posts and stuff. Yep. Like it's the same receptors in our brain. Like our lizard brains haven't really changed that much. Exactly. But the mechanisms of how we're achieving that. He's crying about it. He's upset. It's okay. But you know how we're getting there is different. The vehicle is different, but it's the same chemical reaction.
I can tell you have been listening to podcasts bringing up the lizard brain, the ancient lizard brain.
You know, I feel like some people use it as an excuse to be. Yeah,
that's one of those things. It's certainly one of those things.
You have to tread lightly.
Yeah, absolutely. You brought up the murals too, how they have to have like a giant graphic on the wall. It's funny. I think a lot of restaurants used to have tons of framed photos. So imagery was always important.
Yeah.
But now, as opposed to us looking at the photos of times past in that restaurant, it's us taking photos of the time that's passing.
Ooh.
And then still looking at that photo, but in like a new domain. Like,
yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
See, maybe I'm just a grump, and maybe everything does cycle and recycle itself. And so maybe, I mean, like I said, I think it's amazing to support artists, and I'm glad that they're being commissioned for their work. You know, that in the past, like I think especially like mural art, like, you know, they maybe weren't getting paid as much as they should. And now like people are really, you know, there's specific artists that like are branded at certain restaurants. And when you go to that restaurant, you expect to see that artist. And I think that's like a really amazing collaboration between art and food, which maybe hasn't happened before. But yeah, I guess I know. And it's such, I wonder if that's like, it has to be a New York thing too, but also such a Chicago thing to like have like Mike Ditka on the wall and like Steve Dolinsky and like all of these, like, you know what I'm saying? Like on like in the framed photos though, and like Walter Payton, like those big people, I feel like they would always be on the wall, like eating there. Bill Clinton, Obama, like, like
cigars in the reddish glow that only 3 free comped drinks could provide you. Right.
Michael Jordan, like, you know, like and it was so fun. Yeah. Those photos were great. And some places still have them. I mean, Portillo's still does a big wall in certain locations.
It has that going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thinking about the block party again, I was a little let down with the lackluster showing. Maybe I need to think about Instagrammable moments for next year.
But then are you going to attract non-community members?
Possible. It's definitely possible. Yeah.
I mean, are you on like their Facebook page? Like first it's like, why didn't we know it was happening?
How about this? I'll combine like the old and the new. So it'll be an Instagrammable moment with like photos of people in the old neighborhood or something. Like I'm still somehow using.
It's like those little head things where you put your head in, but it's like someone's grandma out the window, like shaking a rug.
Yeah, exactly. Someone cutting their lawn with like a mower that doesn't even have a.
Meanwhile, like back in the day, they were like sweating and working so hard, and we're just like.
But they're still in like a full suit.
Yeah.
Like the people are out there working in like full dress clothes.
Oh man. No, yeah, that's a funny idea actually.
That can pump up participation for next year.
Yeah.
Or maybe it'll be because it's a whole block, right? A block party, you have a lot of distance. It's almost like a drag strip down the street.
Yes.
So you could start, it can be like a timeline. Like on one end, it's all Instagrammable sprinkle bullshit. Like I'll have like one of those unicorn floaties you can put in a pool that people can like sit on in the kiddie pool.
I'm buying one right
take
now
a photo.
for my friend's engagement party next week. I'm buying it on Amazon this week.
And the total other end, it's just like homemade liquors, moonshine, and like intense weed pulling yard work or something. Like we're all out there to have a good time, but also the sun's going down and we better get some work done before
I feel like that is the most like intergenerational sounding like amazing idea, because like I think of like my dad who couldn't sit still.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't handle it, and he loved a good party, like, you know, like a Bud Light, like those church carnivals, like he thrived. However, I feel like he would very much have enjoyed something like that. And then like me and my sisters who were like fully American and like more modern would just like do our thing on that end.
You do need a spectrum of possibilities.
Because then it's like all like the those people get together and like they talk shop, and like it's like different little subsects of the community like have their people.
It's true. The table I was at, like my neighbors, like they're a Mexican family. They invited a bunch of their like relatives and stuff. And a couple of the kids, you mentioned the intergenerational thing, they just had their head down on the table at one point because, you know, they're like, okay, whatever, grilled food. They're not being offered Modelos, you know, so they weren't having that pleasure. One of them had like, of course, like headphones in and was like being total emo teen, whatever.
Oh, love it.
But one just had like head down, where if there was something else to do, might have been a little bit more invigorating.
Yeah.
And you mentioned people like your dad who can't sit still. I'm a lot like that. My dad's like that. You got to give like a weed pull game, or you have to have. That's where horseshoes comes from. I'm sure bags. Like it's people like, well, I can sip on this Bud Light, but I can't do it sitting here. I mean, give me a break. This is a time I'm used to being on my feet. So you got to give me something going on here.
Oh man, growing up, there's this place called Gaelic Park, where I grew up, and it's like the this like center of like some Irish community in like the southwest suburbs of Chicago. And they used to do a yearly festival all about farming. And one of the games was jumping in a pile of grain.
No.
I'm not lying.
Like barley? What kind of grain?
I don't even remember. In my mind, I feel like I'm remembering like corn.
Corn kernels? You get a concussion.
No,
dried?
It surely
was
wasn't
it cream
but
corn?
It was like
are you sure they just weren't having you cream corn for them? Like
no, but also like I had a sick obsession with cream corn as a kid. I know it's gross, but I loved it. See, and now all of my authority about sprinkles goes out the window because they're like, this bitch loves cream corn.
Okay, cream corn here, sprinkles down here.
But no, we literally, one of the games was like riding in the tractor and then jumping in a pile of grain.
It's awesome.
And
it's awesome.
I just think about how it got canceled, I think, when I was like 14. Like they stopped doing it. And I just think about how something like that would never happen anymore.
It's the second time you said something was canceled, and I'm like, oh, was it problematic? Something was problematic?
The farming industry, the farming lobbyists, the dairy lobbyists. Why do we think milk is so good for us?
Right.
I mean, everything is dark, but no, I don't think people were as into like the farming stuff.
They, talk about things that go around, come around. I think there's just something there. Like, there's got to be like agricultural bars that open up where, people can like ride horses and drink whiskey. And
oh my gosh, yeah, especially with
hay
like
stacks that you can.
Country is making its way into more of a. I mean, it was always popular. Obviously, it's one of like the major music genres, especially in America. But I feel like it's. Especially with queer artists like Orville Peck and Lil Nas, everything. Yeah. And then like thinking of like Solange, her most recent body of work, and like Casey Musgraves, who is an ally.
Mitsaki too. Here Comes the Cowboy, right?
I haven't even listened to it.
But there's been a lot of.
Yeah, but it's like that Western thing is like coming back, that like ethos, but with like a very needed and necessary modern flair.
It's huge because we're really talking about whether or not country culture comes into the cities and makes its way into the mainstream media, right? Because I mean, rural America, country life is always there.
Yeah, true.
It's kind of like omnipresent. It's whether I feel like it's more cosmopolitan type people are willing to acknowledge it, or whether like the studios that do a lot of reporting in major cities, care to even listen to Garth Brooks or whatever the country act of the day is. Lil Nas X.
Yes, but I mean, I think that's why it's more palatable, because it's like changed. It's changing.
It's going to bring the country together. I mean, like that's incredible.
I mean, that I forget, and it's a shame that I'm forgetting her name, but that Black female singer who had the Grammy nominated, and I think she won the Grammy for Black Like Me. And it's a country song basically just about her experience being a Black woman in the United States. And it was like a huge moment, because even at the CMA Awards, when the Chicks brought out Beyonce for Daddy's Lessons after Lemonade came out, a lot of people were like, I mean, it was a quiet, but I do think there was like an underbelly of people that were like, why is she performing here? And like, blah, blah, blah. When really country music is Black music, you know, and it's, but yeah, no, I mean, but yeah, it's interesting too that you bring up like those values in like the metropolitan area, because we're also going through a moment where like there's like suburbanization of poverty.
Yeah.
And
true.
It's so interesting that like, are they going to essentially like co-op like that aesthetic while also pushing people out of cities? So yeah,
I didn't think about that element. That is very fascinating.
Yeah, because most people are leaving the cities now because they're so expensive, and most people, I don't know if it's necessarily rural, but they're moving to the suburbs.
Yeah, the need for housing just keeps going up and up, but like a lot of popular neighborhoods in the city, they turn 2-3 unit homes into a single family home, pushes people out. Interesting. Sort of blurring the lines. We're mentioning class. We're mentioning a lot of different things here.
But the block parties.
But
you know what? We can still.
We've done enough about block parties.
Yeah, Andersonville, where I live, has a ton of block parties around the neighborhood, and it's really family focused. I think I'm just like not the demographic to like always go to a block party.
I finally just went this year. My neighbor basically made me go. She was like, banging on my door. She literally was banging on this door yesterday, being like, "Come out, let's go, let's do this thing."
That's amazing, though.
Yeah, we had a good time. It was great.
With my dad immigrated, and no one from his family came with, and then my mom was the only one from her family from the East Coast, so it was just those people here in Chicago, and then me and my sisters, and our neighbors were our family. I celebrated Christmas, New Year's, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, any religious holiday was also with them. Like, all of it was with my neighbors. And I have found in Chicago, I do miss that level of like not having that peace in life. Like, he misses it too. You know, like I've tried so hard to get along with a lot of my neighbors, but it's just a bit more like people have individual lives and they're less. So I think the block party is really important.
It's a big deal, and you're hitting the nail right on the head in terms of the dynamic here, because I just took care. I think one of the reasons my neighbors wanted to come so bad is they wanted to like feed me and Shavana.
Aww.
I just took care of their grass. They went to Mexico for like weeks, and like I was like watching their back basically. I watered their orchids actually while they were gone.
But see, that's so nice.
But they also, I was gonna say, they don't have a lot of family either. So they're like, I think, into the neighbor thing for that same reason.
Yeah.
You know, which we all should be. We're all being like stripped of like religious institutions, opportunities. Even a lot of times people use work as a way to fill some of those social voids. But now with the work from home revolution, like we clearly aren't going to have that be the long-term answer. People probably need more options. We're all looking around at Snickers.
Just making sure he's not fucking up the studio.
We do have to hit one more thing, which is the Irish entertainment piece.
Speaking of that, I was just going to bring up Irish people to close out our neighbors discussion.
Please.
I will never forget. So my dad grew up on a farm in Thomastown, Kilkenny. And there was this man who had domesticated foxes. His name is Patsy. And my uncle is kind of like a hardcore like Irish farmer. And he was always be like, oh, Patsy's a bit odd, but like he's a great neighbor. Like if anyone's coming up the lane, like Patsy's telling us, like, and there was always this like very understood thing of all like the Irish farmers in that area that like they looked out for each other intensely. And my uncle recently unfortunately got diagnosed with cancer, and he didn't really want to tell anyone at first, right? But he started selling off all the livestock, and all the farmers were like, what's going on? So they ended up finding out. Now everyone's rallying around him, and it's like this huge little community behind our family, and it's amazing. And I just think like even growing up, like my Nana used to trade bread for eggs from the lady down the street, and everyone just knew everyone. And it was, I mean, I don't necessarily know if I crave that as a person who's very into living in Chicago, but I do think there's values there that we can learn from.
Well, we have to rebuild some of those systems in our modern lifestyle.
We do.
You have to acknowledge where we came from, which is, you mentioned the ancient brain thing. It's like a hunter-gatherer brain. Being in a tribe, like probably 150 people, right? Which you're generally not going to have in a work-from-home Zoom meeting every day. That feeling of support from even someone in your 150-person tribe. There's one person who's into foxes that can teach you something about foxes. Like everyone has a specialty, everyone has something to offer.
But yeah, so.
But especially in times of in difficult times. I'm sorry to hear about your uncle.
Thank you.
That's very Irish, not to tell anyone, and then just to start
100.
like dismantling your life.
100%. Like all the farmers were like,
"What do you mean I didn't tell anyone? I've been selling. I've been selling my life. I've been."
It was the most Irish response, literally. No, yeah, they were just like, "What are you doing?" Like he sits on all these like small committees for like farming and like advocacy for farming and like healthy farming and like, not hurting the animal, like stuff like that. I mean, they still eventually hurt the animals, but like giving them a good quality of life while they're alive. Not factory farming, I should say, anti-factory farming. But yeah, thank you. No, he's doing okay. My aunt is a very high-level nurse from Dublin, and she worked in a lot of the hospitals there, and so she's been taking care of him. So we're lucky that we have a family member who's like a professional. Very
much so. I should have made the Irish transition earlier when we were talking about jumping into like piles of grain. I feel like that would have been.
Well, yeah.
Talk about entertainment. Jump in that millet over there.
Oh my God! Wait, I think it was millet.
Was it millet? Okay, yeah. We had to come with a couple options. Eventually, we'd make our way to it.
I think it was millet. But can I tell you, it used to itch me so bad, and my dad would just be like, "Jump in with my sisters," and like they would just all be these kids roly-poling around in like what should be a ball pit, but it's grain.
That's hilarious. Is that where the ball pit came from?
Or like haystacks. Like, man, it was also like jumping off haystacks was huge. Yeah. Like, I mean, all of this at Gaelic Park. Like,
God, the Irish have been entertaining forever. They invented the ball pit with millet. We broke it on this podcast first.
You heard it here.
Have you even noticed this phenomenon that there tend to be Irish people in some of the, I don't know, some of the media like positions? I mean,
100%.
Even like, I don't know, Conor McGregor being in the MMA. I'm not just like listing every famous Irish person.
No, I don't even know them all. I didn't know Joe Rogan was Irish.
He's Italian and Irish.
Oh, okay.
But I think Rogan is a Irish
sure,
name,
but like I'm not claiming him.
People are willing to click on a name that says Rogan, though. I don't know. I think the Italians get Joe Rogan, in all fairness. God bless you, Joe. But I think the Italians can take credit for you.
I miss Fear Factor Joe Rogan.
But in this podcast, I need to take credit for Joe. No, but working with, going to be working with these gentlemen. I think they're actually trying to make a show too, kind of contrasting the Irish immigrant experience with like the like white American Irish experience. I think like each of the guys is one of those, and there's going to be.
I would watch that. That's my family.
Well, I was gonna say you might end up being a writer on this thing, so I'm glad you're interested in it.
That's why I'm always very quick to tell people like I'm Irish American. Like I don't claim to be Irish because I'm not.
Right.
And there's a huge difference.
Sure.
And this I'm only talking about my lived experience of being like in Chicago, let alone Boston, Baltimore, New York, which has a very any of the New England area, like has a very, it might be very different.
So is it, maybe I'm asking specifically about why Irish Americans have been successful in media or why they, so anyway, I have one theory that basically is just rooted from a movie I just watched.
Tell me.
I was gonna say I'll get to that second. Do you have any theories or do you have any feelings as to what it is?
I do.
What is it?
Oh gosh, where do I start? I think a big part of the ethos of Ireland has always been romance and art and poetry, and writing. Snickers is like, no. And I think they've just always been people that have really valued art. And I also think throughout time, when they've faced trials, oftentimes forms of resistance were traditional music. And also, we were talking about how my uncle didn't want to tell anyone anything. I've also noticed that the only times I've seen Irish men get emotional, other than if it's something like terrible, has been like at funerals when they're singing together. And so I think it's like almost like they've, as a culture, decided that that's an okay space to like express that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just always been a culture that's really valued like celebrating Irishness and like art and music and like having a social experience in the pubs through the gathering of music, dance. Like it's just always been a culture that's very like art focused.
Right.
And there's so many great like authors, poets, playwrights that are Irish. And I think it's just kind of translated throughout time, in addition to being like a westernized country and having more access.
Believe it or not, it has been an hour.
Oh my God.
You just cracked the code right as we hit an hour. Perfectly timed regiment here.
But yeah.
No, you make a lot of good points. You brought up the tragedy element too, which, you know, obviously art is one of the most valuable things for getting through difficult times. And unfortunately, the Irish, so now we're switching between actual Irish people and Irish Americans, but the Irish.
There's tragedy for Irish Americans too.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, of
much
course,
more
right.
for like. I mean, Irish Americans basically came out of.
One
like,
is connected
yeah,
directly
fully.
to the other, right? Like, I mean, it's possible both of us are here due to things that happened in Ireland over the last few hundred years.
100%.
Yeah, of course. But as a way to like get through hard times, and maybe like because the Irish have been through some things, they've also been able to accomplish some things. Like it's like the flip side of that coin, right? Like they've been able to spend more time, or that they have maybe had a more intense emotional attachment to the beauty that can come from, I'll say it again, transcendent art. I had to use transcendent twice in this podcast. That was my goal. It wasn't. But I mentioned the movie thing that I just saw. I was watching Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
Okay.
There's a scene in the beginning where like there's a racing company and it's owned by the father, and then the son is trying to take over the racing company. And the son who's trying to take over is talking about how he does not like Ricky Bobby, because it's like Ricky Bobby just like won his first race and he seems like a wild man or whatever. And the father actually tells the son, like, you see him over there, like he's got a little bit of wild cowboy in him. Bringing it back to the cowboy thing too.
Damn.
He's like, he's got a little bit of wild cowboy in him. He's like, you could use a little bit more of that, like wildness in you. Like he's like saying to his son, like that is your problem, is you don't have the ability to be wild or to have that, I guess maybe intensity that can be required for greatness. So I'm happy to have you here. Obviously, adding some realness and some validity to what I'm basically just taking from a movie. You know, I'm just taking from a Will Ferrell movie. I'm gonna keep like piecing this together over time and figuring it out.
Yeah. No. I mean, I also think just like globally, the Irish typically, definitely not when they came over during the famine, because people hated them, but I think are well received. Like people think they're very kind and sweet and generous and like silly. So I think that's helped too.
We should wrap because one of the cameras just went out. Actually, I just hit the hard drive, but we still got this one over here, which is all good.
I haven't even looked at that one.
That's like the voyeur camera. That's all good. That's meant to be sort of like, you know, you're sitting in the room a few feet away.
Yeah.
It's funny you do say that, though, that the Irish are well received, because I was in Scotland visiting relatives, and I ran into some like anti-Irish sentiment while I was there. Like, one person was just cracking jokes about the Irish, and then literally just turned to me and my sister, knowing we're Americans, and asked us like, "Oh, do you make fun of the Irish, like where you're from too?" Like they had realized that they were just like
There's a lot of incest jokes.
Is that what? I didn't get that. It was like more like a dumb thing or something.
No, because that could what comes.
There you go. Yeah, see, I didn't even realize the dumbness was related to the incest.
So everyone thinks you're related. It's not true. I'm dispelling that, but that's where it comes from.
Well, we'll crack this code next time. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, Casey.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm sorry if we went every which way.
What are you talking about? We cracked exactly what I wanted to get into right at 60 minutes. It was perfectly timed, perfectly planned out.
Love it. Thank you for having Snickers too.
Of course. Yeah, happy to have. Snickers is the second dog on the podcast. Zoe's made a few appearances in the yard.
Oh.
Not vocal takes.
I'm so sorry.
But more visual.
It's the cries of his people. But no, thank you for letting him come.
Of course. No, I'm happy to hang out. We're gonna grill after this.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna have some good food.
It's our summer fun, baby.
Full summer fun. Yeah. So until next time, bye everyone.
Bye.
Take care.